Hey everybody, Sue Hitzman, Anatomical Gangster. We're here with Shannon Willits, who is the owner of not one Club Pilates, not two, but 4 Club Pilates. Wow, I mean, really incredible. And you know, I'm always excited to speak to female business owners because I know it's just kind of hard sometimes to get started. And you started in Pilates back in the 90s. And tell me a little bit about the journey of how you got here.
You got it. All right, so 1999, I took my first Pilates class. I was a personal trainer. I was fit. I was strong. I was flexible, all those things. I had chronic low back pain. One class changed my life. So from that moment on, I just really never looked back, Sue. So I started studying, and I opened up a small studio. And it was in a racket club, and this was in 2002. This was when nobody was really doing Pilates.
Yeah.
And I ended up having 6 reformers. You know, that was something, right? To have 6 reformers in a racket club. That's where I met my husband. My husband was the head golf pro on the neighboring golf club. So he really fully supported what I was doing and sent me all the golfers. I'm really like a golf and racket specialist. I love, working with those athletes. So many studios over many years with Steve. And then Club Pilates, I started seeing my master trainer. He was working with Club Pilates, and I was like, Matthew, what the heck is this? Because, I always knew that sometimes a big organization was going to come through and revolutionize Pilates because it was so great. I always thought it was going to be medical. I really did. Never in a million years did I think I was going to be involved with that organization. But yeah, I walked into my first Club Pilates, and I couldn't believe the way that the space was set up. It was so efficient, and everything that I did was there. Like all of the Pilates apparatus, they had a TRX set up, hanging, a Bosu, and a foam roller, as a matter of fact, because I had studied with you, in 2013. So this was in 2017. And so we opened our first studio in 2017, and it was really, it was a lot of work. It was fun though, This is in Fort Myers. I'm from Sarasota, so I didn't know anybody.
So break this down a little bit for me. So Club Pilates, so you guys, I don't know if you've heard of Club Pilates, but Club Pilates is a franchise. Who was the founder of Club Pilates, do you know?
So, yeah, her name is Allison Beardsley, and she, during the market crash in 2008, 2009, so when I was downsizing at that time, she lowered her prices, bought more equipment, and opened 5 studios in that market.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and then people were approaching her about franchising, and Anthony Geisler, who is the head of Exponential Fitness, who's our umbrella company, bought it and rebranded it. Yeah.
So the difference between, so you've owned your own Pilates studios, and then you're saying, I don't want to own my own Pilates studio, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be a franchisee.
Yes.
Like pitfalls, bonuses, like somebody's hearing you saying, I think I want to open up my own studio. What might be the pro or con of doing a franchise over a, their own?
Yeah. Well, to your point, really, Sarasota, where I live, actually, wasn't available. So I had to make the decision whether I was actually considering competing with Club Pilates in Sarasota. And I decided that was not a good idea because they really have it all figured out. And I really, like the brand. I like the support. There's just tons of resources that they provide. So they make it easy for me to be an owner, right? There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, I don't have to think about. They're doing it, right? They're helping me do it.
So and so now, when you're talking about having a company, when a company actually can come in saying, we're going to take all of the hard stuff away, right? We don't need to do all of not all of it, right? Exactly. There's so much more that's into it, is my point, right? You've got some pieces that a Club Pilates can take some of the burden off because they're shaping sort of the protocol for you. But now it takes somebody with a lot of persistence, passion, and people to actually run a business. How many employees do you have?
People. That's yeah. So we're right at the 60 employee mark with 4 studios. Sue, we're opening 4 more studios in 2 years. And you know what the biggest issue that I have is instructors. Pilates instructors.
Yeah.
So fortunately I've been doing it long enough that I'm a master trainer for Club Pilates, so I do run my own Pilates courses and certify my own instructors. I'm very lucky.
And this is big. Well, they're lucky. They're lucky because, somebody who has a brand, right? I speak to club owners and they don't want to pay for the education of their teachers. And I'm like, why? And they said, well, then they get educated and they go somewhere else. I said, well, maybe if you treat them well and there's a reason for them to stay, and you're educating them, it kind of sounds to me like a better model.
Yeah.
And I don't think everybody thinks that way. And, I really am grateful today. I'm actually here doing a melt event to bring some of the awareness to her teachers, to kind of bring it back to the teachers, bring some education back to them. So this is huge. You're actually an owner who sees the value of education, educates them, and you put some of it, you're paying for some of that education.
That's right. Yeah. Yes, so we have a development benefit for our instructor team. Yeah, so, it's based on their evaluation and how they do, teaching classes for us. But we invest in that as well, so we have a solid development program for our team. And I do believe in education, 100%. The better they are, the better I do. Right. So overall, it's a win.
So if somebody was listening who suddenly you've piqued their interest, they're saying, maybe I would open up a studio. If you could tell somebody something that maybe it's a secret, it's an insider tip that could very well change the course of their life because they maybe haven't thought about something before they start diving into thinking, I'm going to go ahead and I'll open up this studio. Is there something that, a couple of things of wisdom that you'd want to tell somebody?
Oh, wow, that's a pretty deep question. It depends, on the kind of studio, but let's say, it's a franchise like this. I would say you need to be a Pilates instructor to really be able to understand what it is that's required. You really invest in that. We have a lot of really good employers, Club Pilates employers. They're investors and they're not instructors. And I listen to them and I hear their pain points, but I don't hear the same pain points, from the owners that are actually instructors.
Gotcha.
They really get it and they get the model and they get, what's happening with their team. When they're removed like that, it's just not quite the same experience, and certainly not the same experience for the member. Yeah, so, I think that the member experience is more enriched and that studio's going to do better.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So really, I hear you. It's like, again, you have to have a little bit of passion, persistence. You got to find the right people.
Right.
And, I think that the finances of doing something like this also, you have to really understand how to structure your time, your business, so that you make it profitable. 100%. And that, I think, is really tough. But it's incredible to see such a fantastic studio, and you're just such a great business owner, very gracious. It's pretty amazing to see what you've done.
Thanks a lot.
I'm super excited to be here today. So if people want to find out more about your specific studios with Club Pilates, how do they find you?
Yeah, so we're clubpilates.com. We are in Fort Myers, so Fort Myers West, Fort Myers Central, Estero, Cape Coral West. So those are our studios.
She's up on the West Coast with us. So if you guys are over on the West Coast of Florida, check out these studios. Great classes, great teachers. You'll have a ball. Thanks again for having me here. And
thanks
for being on Anatomical Gangster. Until our next chat. See you soon.